Can somebody please tell me what the is going on? Yes, yes, yes. It's the Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio. And today, well, you know what day it is? It's a Wednesday. So what does that mean? You know what it means. It means it is Ask Rick. That's what we're on today. It is Ask Rick. And ask and ye shall find. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. And there he is, ready and waiting. Rick Glaser is up in the building. Rick, it's been another eventful week. Lots of things to talk about. Lots of things.
A lot of things moving, a lot of moving parts in boxing right now, a lot of fluid situations, shows being postponed, canceled, delayed, ever what the media release says. And, Mark Tibbs and Dillian White split, and, a lot of stuff going on in boxing right now.
There's a hell of a lot of stuff going on in boxing right now.
Going on behind the scenes, and there are fights. So, that's because of the COVID, of course. But, that's the kind of situation we're in. A lot of times when things are stagnant, there's nothing to do. That's when the shit happens.
That's when it goes down.
Yeah, because for several reasons. Okay, it's bigger news because there's nothing else going on, number one. Okay, number two is a guy sits there and thinks about something and says, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take more charge of my career. That's how this shit happens. So sorry to hear that Mark Tibbs is gone. I don't know Mark personally. I heard he's a quality person, quality trainer. And, maybe the chemistry wasn't there anymore. Maybe the kid thought he wasn't learning enough. Dillian, he's no kid, but the fighter wasn't learning enough. Maybe he wanted Tibbs to take less than 10%, and Tibbs said no and walked. We don't really know the real circumstances, but he better go to a good trainer because Tibbs is a quality guy, so he better find somebody quality and be with that guy because realistically Dillian White's going to be in position here in a year to make a lot of money in this business with one good swift win. So he's got to come up with the right guy, and Tibbs seemed to be the right guy. He beat a lot of good fighters. I mean, he's beaten 6 good fighters, and he lost to one great one. So it's in the results. The results were there.
Yes. It's an interesting one. It's a curious one. It's a curious one with Dillian White and Mark Tibbs. Ostensibly, the reason and the explanation given was that Mark Tibbs couldn't be with Dillian White over there in Portugal. Dillian White doing some warm weather training in Portugal, and the reason given was that Mark Tibbs couldn't be here.
Sounds like a cop-out to me.
Me too.
It sounds like that was used as an excuse. A multi-million-dollar fighter doesn't use that as using that as an excuse because Tibbs has done a good job with him. I feel bad for Mark Tibbs. Don't even know the man. Never talked to him. He's never been a client of mine in any way, shape, or form. Never had don't even know what he looks like. I know he's got blonde hair and basically what it's like. Well, yeah. I really don't know. If I was locked in the trunk with him and it was dark, I wouldn't know him. So it's sad to say, but this is one of the pitfalls of boxing and being a trainer. 1 minute you think the guy's gonna make $2 million at his next fight. You're gonna get 200,000 Americans, of course, and the next thing you know, you're out. You're out to lunch working with a bunch of ham and eggers.
Yeah,
so that's boxing, and it's sad to say.
Well, that right there. That is Mark Tibbs.
I know why Mark's standing so close to Dillian White. It makes Tibbs look like he's cute.
Oh. Oh dear, that was brutal and funny. brutal and funny. So what we saying now? What we looking at? Okay, we got the Dillian White Mark Tibbs split there. That's probably the story of the day, but we got lots more to get through. Mark Tibbs, I think could be percentages. I think clearly Dillian White, I have to imagine he's got some other people in his camp and he's working rather well with them out there in Portugal. And I don't know. I think he's found a replacement. That's the logical and obvious explanation. He's found a replacement.
Yeah, he just hasn't announced it yet because he's trying to chisel them. That's why.
Explain to us chiseling. What's the
chisel? Chisel means that let's say Dillian, most trainers get 10%. Dillian's probably wanting to give a guy 4% or 5%, or is a younger guy, and he'll say, listen, you can be my trainer. I'll give you 4%, but you got a shot to hit the big time here. Some guy that's not a big name trainer yet. Mm-hmm. So calling his own shot. So I'll give you an idea. On a $2 million fight, instead of paying a guy $200,000 and he's paying a guy 4%, he's paying a guy $80,000. So he saves 120,000 Americans. So that's a lot of money. So that's maybe the situation. I'm not saying it is, but that, listen, when you're this far down the road with a trainer, the excuse of going to Portugal, not being able to go to Portugal. If he was so set on training with Tibbs, he should have stayed in London. Mm-hmm. That would have been the logical thing for him to do. But I think Dillian White's a self-centered guy, and it sounds like he's like a Jarrell Miller type.
A Jarrell Miller type. He's been with Mark Tibbs for 4 years. I don't think he's a Jarrell Miller type. I mean,
I don't mean drug addict. I don't mean I don't a ped user. I mean the type that it's about him. Where other it's not. I can't say that's about Tyson Fury. I haven't heard anything negative about Anthony Joshua. I mean, listen, he got destroyed in the first fight by Andy Ruiz, and I don't think he cut Robert McCracken loose, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So I mean, I think those guys are cut out of a better cloth. Let's put it that way to you, both Joshua and Fury.
Yeah, but didn't Fury dump what's his name? Saunderson? Davidson. That wasn't really a dump job. That was more or less it was a little different. It wasn't there was no ill will. Davidson even said so. And they had a disagreement on styles for the next fight and talking things over and stuff like that. And I guess Fury was right. In other words, you had to pressure the guy, and the other guy didn't think he should be pressured like he was. And, it turned out to be a good decision. That doesn't mean Ben Davis is not a very good trainer, because he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody. One thing about life, Raph, there's always truth and volume. Everybody can't be wrong. There's truth and quantity. Okay, 40 people say he's a good guy. Out of 40 people, okay, he's a good guy. If 10 guys say he's a prick and 30 say he's good, well, that means he's good. That means he can be a prick, but he's good to those people. Yes. Rick Glaser up in the building. You are in tune too. Hold on. Have we received a notification yet? Tell me in the chat. Did you receive a notification? I can't remember if you got a notification. It don't matter. Everybody wants to see it, will still see it. It's just I can't remember receiving a notification. It normally goes a few minutes after we go live, but it's okay.
Notification, but Raphie, you're still the same guy week in and week out. Week 13.
Week 13. We're in week 13, and it ain't unlucky. It's blessed. Now I'm just praying my computer don't blow up.
Crystal number 4, about 90 minutes smoke for Raphie Combat Radio. Starring Rick Glaser. Yes. Thanks. You on here. It's always great,
Absolutement. So we got the Cal L, we got the DJ Georgie Porgy, we got the Philip Carl Roberts, we got the James Jamison, and the Ruben Guerrero, and more. Okay, folks, get your questions in real quick. Just one more thing. on the Dillian White thing, and the Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury left his previous promoter. What was his name?
Mick Hennessy.
Yeah, Mick Hennessy, and Mick Hennessy had to take him to court to get things right. Talk about that, Rick.
You know, Mick loses every fighter. He lost Carl Froch. Every single fighter he loses. Mick's problem is he tries to control everything. He doesn't have the financial resources through the television revenues to control the fighters. He's better off being a manager advisor type, but he tries to be the promoter, the manager, the publicist, and everything, and it just doesn't work. And people see through that after a while. And then you got guys like Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn lurking and lurking all the time. And you know, look what my guys are making, and they're the same level you're at. And the next thing you know is, boom, you know boom. And you know, then he's sitting there, you know, pounding salt. But the truth of the matter is, he's in. You know, I'm not saying he's in over his head, because I like Mick. Don't get me wrong, and I have nothing but good experiences with Mick myself. Whether it was supplying sparring partners or whatever for him, a couple of opponents over the years, sparring partners, whatever. But to be honest with you, you know, when you're comparing his operation to Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, I mean, in comparative baseball, they're in the major leagues, and you know, he's in AAA and AA baseball. So to give you an idea. So
yes.
Not being a manager and bringing the fighters to a promoter instead of being the promoter and having to come. Remember something. It's very difficult to raise revenues in boxing. Okay, you got to have the TV connections, you got to put the asses in the seats, the sponsors. Okay, you're better off taking a small piece from the fighter and say, I'm going to be your agent and represent you, like MK's done, and some of these other guys have done. And that's what I do. I take, you know, anywhere, you know, basically 10%, and, you know, then you get a good fighter, you take them to a top rank, you take them somewhere. Okay, and you know, they have to produce the revenues, and then you get your fair share for guiding the fighter. But you know, that's not good enough for Mick. He wants to be Mick Hennessy Promotions instead of Mick Hennessy Manager.
Trying to do too much. Trying to do too much.
Too much or too little is not a good combination.
Yeah, that's a bad combo. And so that's why Tyson Fury would have left him. But we've got a question. Get your questions in, folks. We've got a question from Ruben Guerrero. Should Eddie Hearn be worried now? Frank put a video out saying how much he'd love to have White.
Is Eddie worried that he might lose?
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody be worried about to lose White at that top rank Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren level, to lose a guy like that. You know, he's not a world champ. I don't think he should be worried. No, I don't think that's the right thing. Would it be a blow to Eddie's ego? Shit, yeah. You know, it's going on a date and spending $1,000 for dinner and not get lucky. You know,
cook at home, folks.
And Ralph, and Ralph, the reason why I use that example is I know you don't like to take women to dinner.
Hell no. It's too risky. Too much of a big risk. I don't like the risk. I don't like the risk factor. You know, right. Bring them home. Bring them to the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio HQ.
Yeah,
take them to the kitchen in the East Wing.
You're gonna use my famous line when I was dating.
What's that?
Let's do this first, and then I'm gonna take you to dinner.
That's a good line. That'll make them laugh. Ruben, just hold on. What's going on here? Let's go to the next question from very few UK trainers better than Tibbs, and it's not Ben Davidson.
Wait. I didn't say it was. Okay, no. I didn't say it was. No. You know what? I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe he found a trainer in Portugal. I mean, who knows? White is a lot like personality-wise, like Jarrell Miller. Okay, you know, I'm not, and there's no relation to PEDs or suspensions or bullshit like that. I'm just talking about personalities. they're both pretty self-centered guys from what I understand. I know Miller is. I understand White is. It's always about them. So who knows? I mean, tough to say. Where's White going now? Nowhere fast. Nowhere fast. That's where he's going. So
I think he's found. I think he's clearly found a new trainer. I think it's pretty obvious.
For 4% or something like that.
Could be a lesser percentage. It could be a lesser percentage, but I disagree with Rick. I disagree with you that Dillian White is not a solid guy. I think he's loyal. He might be more loyal than Tyson Fury. He's been with Tibbs now for 4 solid years, and before that he was with Jonathan Banks.
Well, let me. How loyal could he be if that's the real reason why he left? Because the guy wouldn't go to Portugal. Well, why? If he's not self-centered, why did he stay in London?
Interesting. That's interesting. But I think there was more freedom over there in Portugal without the COVID. I think there's less COVID restrictions over there in Portugal. So my understanding is that's why I went to Portugal. Now Mark Tibbs couldn't come. He's got a young family. He's got a new gym. It could be exactly what he says, but obviously we got you in here because you give us you can offer us a different perspective. It could be the 4% thing. It could be that. It could be percentages.
I might be able to give you a different perspective and idea, but I don't have the true answer. I'm not close enough to. I'm just giving you the options and the possibilities.
Absolutely, and that's what we do, folks. That's what we do. Rick comes with an idea. Being an industry insider, doing what he does, and then I come with my thing, being more of an observer. And so obviously you are the judge. You fall where you think it might be, but we're giving you plenty of options. It could be that Tibbs isn't flexible enough anymore. It could be that he's found somebody new, and it could be a percentage thing.
It could be. It also could be something. I'm not saying this is true.
Right.
There's possibilities like this guy wanted to go on PEDs, and Tibbs said, "I'm not getting involved with that."
Right.
So my reputation is on the line. So maybe Tibbs walked away before the shit hit the fan here.
Or if you're dealing with hypotheticals, it could be that Tibbs said, "Hey, take these." And then Dillian White walked away. We have to look at all the possibilities. We have to balance the thing out.
Absolutely possibility. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. So we're looking at all the possibilities over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Also consider that Tibbs has got a sterling reputation.
Right. Yes. And we also have to consider that Dillian White's ban was for an over-the-counter, what do you call it? Pre-workout drink. So we have to. I
don't go by that. In other words, that's shit happens. People don't. It's not like the stuff that Miller is taking. There was nothing over the counter about anything Miller is taking. A year ago and now.
Yeah, true. Miller. Let's touch on Miller for a second as we transition out of this and into other topics. Let's touch on Miller for a little bit. So comes out the Miller's one of Miller's co-promoters, and he's got a bunch of them. Is serving time in New York somewhere for wire fraud.
Otisville federal prison. It's a minimum. This is the minimum security. There's 2 of them. There's a medium and a minimum. This is the minimum. And he's in there with white collar people, fraud, tax evasion, insurance fraud, all kinds of, accounting irregularities, embezzlement, stuff like that. He's not in with the hardcore guys.
No, he's not in with the hardcore guys. It's a federal thing. So I heard the federal prisons, they're more like holiday resorts. I don't know.
Yeah, they call them country clubs. This is truly this is truly another country club would be like Allenwood, Pennsylvania, where Lewisburg is hardcore federal prison. So it depends what you do. If you're caught with kilos of cocaine, that's what you're going to go to a hardcore prison. If you're caught with some kind of light, like a white collar crime, you're going to go to a minimum. And then if you were in a medium, okay, and you're coming down and you were in there for years, like let's say 5, 6, 7 years, okay, what happens is that shout out to Fifth Street Gym, Tom and the guys, Dino, Tom, hello guys. They move you to a minimum security in the last year or two, depend a lot about the last 20% you're going to be in prison. So if you're there for 5 years and you're already there for 4, they'll move you to the minimum. And you know they can play racquetball, and you know and sometimes it's racquetball facilities. There's a basketball court. There's walking areas. There's a lot of grassy knolls and picnic tables and stuff. You know.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sergio, another friend. Hey Sergio, how are you?
Welcome to Sergio and Fifth Street Gym over there in Miami. We are
good guy, good boxing guy from Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Excellente, excellente. And yeah. So your fella there, your Greg Cohen there, which I didn't know. I mean, it was released. It was in the press, but I didn't notice that. Seems like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Rick.
There was no association. This is an old case Greg Cohen had a long time ago, and it just came to the surface about a year. Well, it's been maybe January of a year ago, about a year and a half ago now.
Yeah,
and it was a misappropriation of funds of $200,000.
Yeah,
suppose he didn't pay somebody from an investment. To pass judgment on Greg, except for the fact that he did plead guilty to it. And I like Greg.
Yeah,
I've done business with him before. I will do business with him again
when he gets out.
Shit happens, Hey. But he pled guilty to put it behind him. He only got 6 months at a minimum.
Yeah,
and he'll be out as soon as July 16th, as late as August 4th.
Okay.
So I look forward to the time he gets out. I've been in contact with his son. Al, nice kid.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. Greg's a resident of New Jersey, right outside of New York City. And, I feel bad, but there's no reflection on Greg about what happened with Miller or vice versa. It's just two separate. Greg, let me make this perfectly clear. Greg's thing was completely unassociated with professional boxing.
Right. Yeah. We covered it. We covered the story. It's $200,000. Covered it in the week. I think the weekend. We covered it in the weekend. $200,000. He took it. He's agreed to pay it back, and he's got 6 months in the holiday home, and he's going to be out real soon. And hopefully, he's going to be getting back to business. A new man. Hopefully, he's had time to reflect. And we'll have to see how it goes. Okay, so good luck to Greg. Okay, so let's see what people are saying in here. Let's get into some. We will train any heavyweight for free. If you win, you pay. If you lose, you don't. How's fair is that? Damn. Yeah. If you win, you pay. If you lose, you don't. Okay, that sounds fair enough. That's Fifth Street Gym over there in Miami for our international listeners. Okay, there you go. That's an offer you can't refuse. AD up in the building. Got your questions in. Good to see you, AD. Can't beat that deal. What we got here? Should White go for Breland as Wilder sacked him? And he's already done 2 training camps for Fury.
he hasn't sacked Breland yet. They're still together, so that's not true. And to be honest with you, White doesn't fight anything like Breland. Wilder fights like Breland fought, except Wilder doesn't have the skills that Breland did. Because Breland had a million amateurs and was just a better overall technical fighter. White doesn't fight like that, to be honest with you. So I would say that answer is no.
The answer to that is no. Okay, AD up in the building. Good to see you. James Jameson comes with a question. Rick, why are there so few quality American heavyweights? Is it the money?
No. It's the reason why is they've gone in different directions. Boxing takes so long to make big money, and they play high school sports like football and baseball and basketball, and they walk in the paydays. Baseball, football, but there's money right when you get out of school, and boxing money for years, and that's number one. Number two is drugs have taken a big toll on American fighters, especially heavyweights, and a lot of them are in jail, a lot of them are cracked out, a lot of them are selling drugs. Those are three options. A lot of them have been killed already. That's an option. There's just so many reasons. Another thing is you have another problem in boxing where the cities used to be more supportive of boxing with the programs, and they're not anymore. The rents are so high, a lot of the gyms closed up in a lot of neighborhoods, so you don't have as many fighters, period, anymore.
Okay, so they're going into other things, other sports, and there are other recreational things that they're doing out there. Okay, Marla has one. James, easier ways to make a living these days if you are big and athletic. If you are a big athletic man.
Well, that's what I said: football, basketball, and baseball. I mean, baseball doesn't have a lot of African Americans. There's only 7.2% African Americans in baseball. There's a lot of black men on the field because they're
Latin, Cuba, Puerto
Rico. There's a lot of Haitians, a lot of Haitians, Puerto Ricans, just in general, a lot of Latinos. But African Americans are very rare in baseball now too.
I wonder why is that? I mean, baseball, I don't know. It's like rounders. We have a girls' game over here in the UK. It's called rounders, where you have a shorter bat, you hit the ball, and it's very much like baseball, but it's known as a girls' game, rounders. Baseball was never big in the UK.
Baseball's not cool anymore for young people like it is football and NBA basketball. That's just the way it is. That's just another thing. Is a lot of big men are going into MMA now because they go to college and they have MMA, they have wrestling in college. That's the other reason. So it's a combination of everything.
It's concoction.
Campbell and Garcia. Well, who has got it? And I think it's a great fight. It could go either way. I like Garcia, but if Campbell won, it wouldn't have surprised me. That fight's not made. That's not going to be made so fast because you got a lot of issues there. And one being that the WBO, that's a BC eliminated WBC. They just ordered on Monday. They just ordered Garcia and Emmanuel to go from Ghana, and to go will come a lot cheaper than Campbell will. Because of the fact that he has his promoter Lou DiBella, the scum-sucking pig, has no TV or streaming money, and to go has no fan base. So that fight will come a lot cheaper. And I know that the WBO likes Oscar, and I know the WBO likes Ryan Garcia. So and would like to have him as a champion. So I think that's the direction that they may go. I'm not convinced that they're going to do the BC fight so fast.
But I think, wouldn't it be more sensible because the fight with Campbell would be a bigger fight? So wouldn't it be more sensible for Ryan to go that direction and then circle back to Campbell?
No, because Campbell, because of the revenues, because Ryan Garcia is not as nearly as a risky fight, and the revenues will be a lot higher. It will be probably about the same for Ryan Garcia, maybe a little less, because they don't have to pay to go but a ham sandwich. You understand, where they got to pay Campbell a lot of money and Garcia a lot of money. Now they only got to pay one guy a ham sandwich, so the rest of the money is left to pay Garcia and Oscar to do well.
Well, that's what I was saying, though. I was saying, isn't it better for them to go that route with what's the guy's name? Tonga? Tonga?
No, to go. It's better they go with to go financially, I believe, compared to risk and reward.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's best to go to go because you can go to go and then circle back later post COVID to get Campbell in a stadium.
Right. Exactly. They can afford to do to go with no people. They can't do Campbell and Garcia with no people.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. So it makes more sense to go with to go and then circle back post COVID. Go to go. You know what I mean? Okay. So Where are we now? Where are we now? We circled back. We've circled back with Dillian leaving Tibbs with his stable. Riakapour and Harding Jr. Dealt Tibbs a heavy. Hold on. So he's taking his whole stable with him? Are you saying Dillian White's taking his whole stable away from Tibbs? Because he's got quite a few fighters under him. So if that's what he's saying, then that is a heavy blow. That would be a heavy blow indeed. Heinrich, that's a heavy blow.
I mean, you know what? Losing Dillian White's a heavy blow. Forget about these other ones.
Yeah.
What can I say? Listen, I would handle if Dillian White called me up and said to me, how much would you do my business for me? I'd tell him 5%. Okay. Figured I'd net 4%. It cost me about 1% to do his business for him. By the time I was to travel and I wouldn't, to negotiate a deal or anything, I wouldn't have my hand out. They say you owe me $3,000, just so you net about 4% on the deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Okay. But, the trainers are in the gym every day with a fight. And that's a big difference. A lot of man hours there, a lot of sweat and tears. Yeah. And a lot of tears, believe me, it's emotional. People don't understand this. Trainers get emotional with their fighters.
Yeah.
The ugly. It's all there.
Yes. Competition is crazy in baseball. All divisions, big Mo night. I think I'll ask one of my questions now. Ryan Garcia says De La Hoya sounds like a hater. I don't hold grudges.
Oh, that was a couple weeks ago. You know what? Oscar doesn't have to be a hater. He made hundreds of millions. He's got his money. He's a very successful promoter. He has a few shortcomings outside of boxing in his personal life, a couple of shortcomings that aren't always so nice, always so great. But overall, Oscar is an altogether guy. In truth, there's no reason why and no reason he should be a hater, and I don't believe he's a hater. I think that's coming from a 21-year-old kid that doesn't understand what the true meaning of a hater is.
Straight. Jose Pedroza says, I proved I belong with the top guys at 440 pounds.
He's a 2-division champion already at 30 and 35. There's no reason why he can't be competitive at 40. I don't see him beating Jose Ramirez. I don't see him beating Josh Taylor. But he belongs. Yes, he belongs. There's no question about that. His experience alone says so. He's a very, very good fighter. I don't see him beating those guys, but if one of those two guys fought him, no complaints on my part.
Mm-hmm. He's worthy. He's worthy up there in the higher echelon 2-divisional champion. That is Jose Pedroza. And let's get to. Sorry.
Jose Pedroza is a different person. This is Pedraza. This is a different
Pedraza.
It's right there. Your Latino pronunciation there, Raph. Your loyal followers, please.
Well, tell me if I pronounce this one right. Manitas de Piedra.
Roberto Duran. Yeah, he just beat the COVID. Now his wife's got it.
Oh,
I mean, but he recovered and now his wife's got it. But they'll be all right. She's still relatively young. She's about my age. She's about 60, 61. I'm 62. She's about that age, I believe.
Yeah,
and then she'll be all right. She'll be all right. She's not she's not one of those people that are really out of shape. She's not moderate size and everything else, so she'll be fine. She didn't have, when I understand, she didn't have any pre-existing conditions. She'll be fine.
She'll be fine. She's gonna pull through. I know it's not made yet, but Ramirez versus Taylor for undisputed. Who do you think wins this great fight? That's impossible to tell.
There are two different styles. One of them is a combination of a really good boxer in Taylor, who's a little bit of a slickster, where Ramirez is a really good boxer, but he presses. So it's it's a very tough fight. I would say if it's in America, Ramirez get a slight edge. If it's in the UK, a slight edge to Taylor. Where it ends up, I think it ends up in a place like Vegas, especially with the coronavirus going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so Ruben Guerrero. What does Rick think of Jose Zepeda?
Zepeda fought last night. I think I said it best. I think I on Twitter today. I'm sorry, I didn't say best. Steve Kim said it best, and I said it. That's a great analogy. He's a high-powered sports car going 65 miles, never going over 65 miles an hour. He's just so smooth and so in control that he just looks that way, and he doesn't give 1,000% of himself. He just does enough to win.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well in big fights. You get complacent in there, and when you got to turn it on, it's not there because you haven't been turning it on.
Yeah, so, you have to turn it on sometimes, even if you don't have to turn it on.
He's left-handed. He's a very good fighter. He's what I call an A minus. An A plus is our world champ. A plus is an elite world champion. An A is a world champ. An A minus is a guy who can win a world title, but he hasn't won it yet. But he's right there on the cusp. And he's definitely a world-class fighter. There's no question about that.
He's a world-class fighter. He's a world-class fighter. Yes, Zepeda. Okay, so Katie Taylor says she's prepared to move forward with a Pursoon rematch. What the hell is going on, Katie Taylor, Eddie Hearn, Serrano? What the hell's going on with that triangle? It's crazy. And your boy there.
Lou DiBella trying to beat his fighter out of money, then trying to make Eddie Hearn look bad on the internet a week ago, Sunday night, 10 days ago, a week ago, Sunday night. Just listen, I've said it best for years. Anybody who gets involved with Lou DiBella, you deserve every fucking you get.
Oh dear. Damn. Rick Glaser not mincing his words, is shooting straight from the hip. No messing around. So Katie Taylor v. Pursoon 2.
Listen, that's probably. I think Pursoon would beat Amanda Serrano. Possibly. So that's as good a fight as you're gonna get. Leave it like that.
That's what I was thinking. It's not a step down.
No.
And furthermore, a lot of people would watch that fight. I'd watch that fight. I only watched the first one because it was on the undercard of the Joshua Ruiz thing.
I'm not a fan of women's boxing.
No.
But that is a good fight.
That is a good fight. I'm in the same boat. Marla says Rick doesn't like Lou. What gives you that impression, Marla? What gives you why would you jump to why are you jumping to conclusions?
Go on the internet, you'll see scum sucking pig. That's my hashtag solely only used for Lou DiBella. Somebody said, why don't you use it with other people? I said, nobody wants it but Lou.
Damn. Okay, so Abnamaris says I have 2 to 3 fights left. One for a shot to become a 4 divisional champion. What say you, Rick Glaser?
He'll never be a champ again. Will he walk into a payday or two? He'll have a tune-up fight maybe, and then a couple paydays. Yes, because he's a a good opponent. World-class level, a former champ, all that good, happy horseshit. But he ain't beating anybody anymore. That game has left him. He's on the very tail end. He even knows he's basically announcing his retirement. And when you're thinking retirement, you're retired. You might fight again, but you ain't going for it. You ain't going for broke. Okay, no. You're not giving it your 1,000%. You're there to pick up a paycheck, go through the motions, try to land a few shots. You're going to see your punches bounce off the guy. You're not as fast. Every shot that you take hurts.
Yeah.
lumped up and shit. Game is over.
The game is over. And I almost overlooked this one. Didn't want to overlook it. Good thing I remembered. Good thing I scrolled through. And this is an interesting one. It's a very, very interesting one because we're looking at the whole situation from Big Belly Miller's point of view. But then you have to look at Jerry Forrest. We have a picture of Jerry. No, they don't even give him a picture. Don't even give him a picture.
Jerry Forrest doesn't want a picture. So anyway, even though I think Jerry's, from what I understand, Jerry's a pretty good guy. He says that's attempted murder in my eyes. First of all, let me explain. It's not. Okay. He was not on a steroid that would increase power. He was on a PED that will give him better endurance and more stamina. Now, could he throw more punches because of it later in the fight as he gets tired? Yes, but it's not like he's on a real steroid where it's giving you, crunching knockout power. Okay, and I don't agree with his analogy at all. Now, if it was a pure steroid and not just in other words, not for stamina, but for complete power, then I would say yes, he'd be correct. But I think he's completely misunderstanding what he was on, what it does, and everything else. Or he's just plain using the wrong example. I don't know, but it's incorrect. Now, like I said, would it help him throw more punches later and would give him more stamina to get through the fight? Yeah, but that shouldn't kill another guy. Okay. So,
yeah. My alternative view to that is I was talking to, who did I interview last Thursday? What's that guy's name? Hold on a second. I was interviewing. How rude of me. How rude of me to forget his name. Let me just go into my WhatsApp. That's it. Calvin Brook. I was interviewing Calvin Brook last week. Very good interview. For anybody who hasn't caught it yet, I seriously suggest you go check it out. Anyway, Calvin Brook said that one thing that he noticed when he fought Klitschko was that Klitschko just didn't seem to get tired in the middle rounds where people get tired. You have a little dip in the middle rounds and then maybe you get your second wind. So, my counter view to that is that if another guy is getting tired and you're not, then that's kind of dangerous in a combat sports situation.
By the way, it's Calvin Brock, not Brook.
Calvin Brock,
right. Yeah, right. I know Calvin, nice guy.
Really nice guy.
Okay, college educated. I believe he's in the banking business now, I believe.
It's gone into roofing. It's gone into roofing.
Roofing? Okay.
Yeah.
Roofing. Oh, he was in banking for a while.
Yeah,
okay.
He was. Yeah.
What do I think? You know what? I'm not going to pass judgment on Klitschko. Those big hives on his back didn't get there by accident. But I will say that I think going back to what Jerry Forrest said, I think it's a little overboard. Okay, like that. If it was a strength one, yes, but it wasn't. To give you an advantage, of course it does, but it's not a killer situation.
It's not a killer situation. Not a killer situation unless you get really tired and the other guy don't. In which case, it could be dangerous.
You're not supposed to get really tired if you're in shape with or without the shit. Miller does it because he's so friggin' big and slow and cumbersome. You know what I mean? If Miller was a normal size, like 240, and built like an Adonis, he wouldn't be on that shit.
Yeah. Good point. Okay, let me go over to the chat now. Let me give the chat a chance. Rick, it says James Jameson says, Rick, give me a dream matchup for this year.
Well, the dream matchups right now is Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
The dream match right now is Belchart and Oscar Valdez.
Yeah.
if Garcia happens with Campbell or to go, it's not a dream matchup, but it's the next level for a budding star. So I wouldn't say it's a dream match, but I would say it would be exciting to see it.
Yes.
Dream, Dream, does she have real long legs and she real well endowed? But she ain't bad either. You know what I mean? I really like I like anything Ryan Campbell does in a step up fight because he can be that guy, that star. You know what I mean? He definitely can be that star. What other fight do I want to see this year? It's so hard to say because of the COVID. Yeah. But obviously, I'm not looking forward to Wilder and Fury Wilder. We've seen that fight already
twice.
We've seen 19 rounds and one guy won 17 of them. So that's not a dream fight. February 22nd was a dream fight. Not any. I would like. What other fight would I like to see? I'm looking forward to seeing Usyk get hit by
Yeah.
Looking forward to that fight. For obvious reasons. And who's Povetkin fighting?
White, Dillian White.
I'm looking forward to that fight. White should win, but Povetkin brings good, experience to the table, punching power, good chin. He's a solid guy, no joke.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay, let's stay in the chat. What is it? Is it the one?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm sorry, Dubois and Joyce, October 20th. Yes, definitely for that. I mean, I've been looking for that. It's been canceled twice so far because of COVID.
Yeah,
definitely for that. All hats off to Frank Warren on that fight.
100%, 100%. Is it the one blow that causes lasting damage or cumulative blows?
Cumulative blows. Nobody was ever hurt with one singular punch, because you have a serious head injury that causes death, you have to have everything expanding and getting swollen. Yeah. And one punch won't do that. One punch just puts your lights out. Yeah. It's the attrition over the course of a fight. That's why I always say, I tell these commissioners, they says that's a 1-round knockout. Well, the guy's not going to get hurt then. Okay. Now he said, well, I want something better than that. Okay, well, it was a 7-round fight. It was a war. The guy said, I want to suspend it for 9 days. You asked for a war.
Yep. Yeah. Indeed, it's definitely the cumulative.
You can't have it both ways.
It's definitely the accumulation of shots that.
About it, fact of life.
Yeah.
Because when a guy goes into when he falls off and goes taken off in the gurney or falls off in the jersey, they've got to cut his skull open and reduce the swelling.
Yes.
So there's the answer right there.
Yes.
There's your answer.
That's the answer. Letting everyone up in the building. Taking more punches with a boxing glove is what does the damage. Yes.
Oh, of course.
Calvin Brock, that's the one.
Yeah, Calvin Brock. Yep, I see.
Calvin Brock. Okay, what's happening here? Good Spell Sports TV said that Wilder has sacked Breland. Is it true?
Nope, it's never been officially announced by anybody.
No. Sergio Sotelo, what do you think about the reality shows from Mexico City that are not being posted on BoxRec?
I don't know anything about it, but anything that laces up boxing gloves with no headgear on, with the boxing commission there, should be on BoxRec ASAP immediately. As the United States in the thing is, the next business day they have to be up. So there's your.
What's the answer to that? Okay, so Ugas versus Ramos, ordered for a vacant WBA regular welterweight title. Winner.
Ugas is 2 classes above a Ramos in ability and class and style. and it's an easy fight for Ugas. Ugas can box. Ugas deserves to be in with a Crawford, now with Abel Ramos. Abel Ramos is a ham and egg that came up with a good win in his last fight over Brian. Brian, what's his name? Brian Petrella, whatever what his name is. They call him the Hitman. And from Florida there, and he capitalized off and I'm happy he's capitalized off. And he was woefully behind in the fight and caught the guy with seconds to go in the fight and knocked him dead. Great, but he doesn't stand in with an Ugas, a world class amateur Cuban that's been edged out as a professional a couple times. So yeah Ugas win easy.
Ugas wins easy. And the winner to face Batuev. I don't know who wins that fight. He's a good fighter, but and he can beat Ugas, but Ugas can box, and he doesn't do well at boxers. Yeah.
The guy from the
Butaev, Butaev, however you pronounce that.
Butaev. Yeah, he doesn't do well with boxers. So a slight edge to Ugas, but he's a lot stronger than Ugas physically. He's very strong.
And Ugas's name is in the mix now. Or was it who declined to fight him? Was it Spence? Was it Spence who declined to fight Ugas?
Correct.
Which is understandable. He's just coming back fine. And there's talk about Ugas and Crawford. Or some talk about that.
Ugas and Crawford's not going to happen now because he'll go fight Batayev. That's what they ordered, so it probably won't happen now. I don't know who's going to fight. I really don't.
Okay. Get your questions in, folks. We haven't got Rick. For too long tonight. We've got to cut it short. Some other things to take care of. So we got to get the most of him. Got to get the most out of Rick. That's why I'm kind of steaming through.
Tonight, the wife's ruling. She's the ruling party tonight. She set up a social function with two other couples. A dinner, and we have to be there. And it's not that far from our home, but in the meantime, the one couple is leaving to go out of town tomorrow to Atlanta. So putting into my precious time here with you, Raph. But we can, and my wife will give me the hand signal. To say, let's go, chump.
Rick's waiting for the hand signal. Hope it's nothing too rude, Rick. Hope it's nothing too rude.
One time my wife put her hand out for some money with me. She goes, "Are you gonna be a chump or a champ?" If you put a so that's by volume, by the way.
Okay, so let's make the most of Rick tonight. Anybody who has not been here before, you are in tune to Ask Rick on Boxing Talk with Raphie. The channel is Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. If you have not subscribed, then please kindly do so by hitting that bell icon. And if you are already a subscriber, then just hit that bell icon once to turn it off and hit it again to turn it back on, because sometimes you don't get the notifications.
Raph, you never tell anybody. It's free. It doesn't hurt. Don't be afraid to press all the buttons. Do everything you got to do. It's free. I trust you.
Press all of the good buttons, folks. Press all of the good buttons. Okay, so let's talk about Joseph Parker versus Junior Fa now. That would be the fourth fight in a row no one cares for. Does Rick think Parker is still a force in the division?
This is a weird thing to say. He's making himself not a force, but he is a force despite himself trying to make himself not a force. I don't know what Junior Fa brings to the table. I know it's a big fight over there down under. Don't get me wrong. You know, New Zealand, Australia. I get it. It's a big fight over there. But is you know, Parker's not supposed to be fighting guys that like the Junior Fas. He's supposed to be fighting top 10 guys on a regular basis. What does he need Junior Fa for? I don't know. So it makes no sense at all. But I don't know. Parker is like trying to destroy his own career almost. I mean, he reminds me of the guy that he knows there's millions of dollars at the top of the mountain, and he looks up. He says, "Oh, I don't want to go there. I'm successful." You know, I almost feel that way. I mean, Raph, is that a good description of Joseph Parker?
Yeah, but what does he got to do? What does he got to do? What does he got to do?
I think he's got to sign up with somebody like Top Rank and get in the mix with all their heavyweights that they have. I shouldn't
have let you answer. I should have answered it myself because my recipe. I should have gave you my recipe and let you respond to that because my recipe has been for the longest time. Joseph Parker should relocate to the USA and sign for Bob Arum.
Yeah, well, so far, absolutely nothing. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know. The whole thing is weird. Let's put it that way to you. Why he needs Junior Fa? The fight's down under. You know, whether it's Australia, New Zealand, doesn't matter. What's it mean?
He's got to leave. He's got to leave New Zealand and go to America. He's got to mix it up. He's got to mix it up.
He's got some kind of Samoan name or Tongan name. He changes to an Americanized name. Okay, great. Use it. Come to America.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You change your name now. Now use it. You know, matter of fact, you're better off. Who was that guy? The short guy, the short Samoan guy. Used to have the spike.
David Tua.
Yeah. Come on, Joseph. You know, you got the exotic quality. You're a guy from your Samoan heritage. You know, there's Samoans in America as well. Use it. That's what I say. Okay, so Sergey Sotelo. The Mexican Boxing Commission did not authorize the shows because Mexico City is on the COVID-19 stage red.
I don't know how either the fights took place without having your on and regular gloves. I don't know how you not sanction the fights. Either they happened or they didn't happen. If they happened, they should have been sanctioned. I don't know. It sounds crazy to me.
Well, apparently Soliman interfered and along with Azteca Network reclassified it as a reality show. So it's not real boxing. It's not classified as real boxing then. And if they did it in a COVID-19 red zone against all regulations, then to me it shouldn't be classified anyway because they're going against health regulations. It's dangerous. They shouldn't be doing it. So I agree that it should not be classified. Okay, so where we at? Okay, so Derevyanchenko has been offered fights with Jamel Charlo and Canelo Alvarez.
I've said all along, I told the manager who's a dear friend of mine of Derevyanchenko, Keith Connolly, I told him that I would go for Charlo because he's got a great chance to knock Charlo dead. And he's got between 0 and no shot to beat Canelo. And I know Canelo's more money, but the kid deserves the fame of winning the world title. He's probably the best fighter right now that hasn't won a world title that's fought for one. So I would say definitely go after Charlo for some reduced money compared to Canelo, but that's where he should go. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not about all the money. Sometimes it's about what you come out with at the end.
Yeah. Who do you think would win out of Charlo and Derevyanchenko?
Derevyanchenko knocks him stiff.
You know what? I think you might be onto something there, Rick. I think you might be onto something there. Stay away from Canelo. Go with Charlo. You might be onto something there. Okay, another one of mine. Get your questions in, folks. Rick ain't here for long. Callum Smith. I'd still take the Canelo fight in a heartbeat. I'm not ducking it. Everybody's calling Smith a duck.
It's not a matter of ducking. It's not Canelo ducking him. It's not him ducking Canelo. There's no money. There's no fans. There's no fans in the building. There's no sponsors. Your revenues are very limited because the foreign TV is down because there's no sponsors right now because the economy in most countries is not good right now because of the COVID. So nobody's getting this. It's a fucking business. It's all sport if you're paying to fucking watch or you're watching for free on TV. This is a business. The fighters take risks with their lives and their livelihoods, and nobody's ducking. Canelo's not ducking anybody, and McCallum Smith is not ducking him. BJ Saunders is not ducking. There's reduced monies compared to what would have been in May, and that's the figures everybody's dealing with, and that was canceled. And that's all there is to it. They can't pay that $7, $8, $10 million for an opponent right now. You know, Danny Jacobs got over $12 million for when he fought Canelo. That doesn't exist right now, folks. People got to come to reality. $17 million in a possible gate in Las Vegas, 15 million, whatever would it be? It's not there. 5 million in sponsors. It's not there. Less foreign TV in certain countries that don't have the zone. Another $3-4 million. You're talking about $25 million difference in revenues. Nobody's getting it.
Yeah. Yes. And we got another one. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and follow Rick and I on Twitter. Okay, we go to Ruben Guerrero. What did Rick think of BJ's turning down Canelo for not enough time to train? And did Rick, well, they'll go with that one first. It's two-parter.
Well, wait. Let me answer that. I don't remember Steve Kim's tweets on the subject, but yes, I do. He said it should be 6 weeks. And it should be ample time and everything else. Well, Steve's right about that. Okay. But again, to me, 6 weeks for a fight like that, because being a guy that's a champion and he knew his name was in the mix for the fight, he should have been training anyways. So that to me is lame, even though I like Billy Joe Saunders. It's lame, very lame. But that being said, it's about the revenues, folks. There was not as much money as Saunders was supposed to get because he was the guy up the bat in May. The contract wasn't signed, but the deal was agreed to when all the bullshit with the COVID hit. So those revenues are not available today.
Those revenues are not available today. The market forces. We're talking about market forces here. And we are moving swiftly.
Meaning Billy Joe is a slob out of camp. Yeah, it sure is. But he knew he was up the bat in May. He knew he was getting that fight, and he knew he had a shot to get this fight. He should have been in the gym anyways. I mean, I blame Billy Joe Saunders, and Steve Kim is right. Steve Kim's an excellent writer. The two best American writers that write daily is Steve Kim and Mike Coppinger. Tom Hauser is an excellent writer, but he writes specified pieces once or twice a month, more investigative stuff and stuff like that. He's a fantastic writer himself, but not a daily boxing writer.
Not a daily boxing writer. Okay.
Stuff. Yep.
Yes. What am I doing now? I'm going to share my screen with you for a second. Pulev's promoter warns Anthony Joshua, the knockout is coming. We're coming for you. We knock you out.
Yeah, I'll show you what a knockout Avalo Gutiev is. Who's Pulev, by the way? He's Pulev's co-promoter. He's not his manager, but that's beside the point. What did he about him? He was supposed to buy me dinner in Las Vegas in January of 2014. And he made it sound like he was buying me dinner. He showed up. I said, "Where you been?" He, blah, blah, blah. He says, "Are you buying me dinner?" I says, "No." He said, "Then I'm leaving." I says, "Okay, walk out that door right there." And he literally left. Literally left. He is.
I'm gonna have to get the square. I'm gonna have to get the swear jar out for Rick. Rick is very animated tonight. He's just shooting from the hip, folks. That's how he does it. So don't accept any invitations for dinner from what's that guy's name?
Alvaro Gutierrez.
Alvaro Gutierrez. Anybody approaches you by the name of Alvaro Gutierrez and invites you out for dinner?
Alvaro Gutierrez.
Yeah.
He ain't eating dinner.
He stiffed Rick Glaser out of dinner. That's totally unacceptable.
I told him the only time he sticks his hand in his pockets is to get his keys out or Justice Johnson.
OMG. Rick's spilling the beans tonight. I think Rick may have had a glass of wine just before the show.
Never had a drink in my life, Raph. It's all I'm real, Raph. There's no we have no additives in my body.
Okay, so Ryder, Hearn let Golden Boy know that I am available for Canelo in September.
Perfect guy. He's the perfect guy. He's a credible guy. He got a lot of people thought he got hosed by Callum Smith in the McCallum Smith fight. And he's the perfect guy. He's got a good reputation. Well known in the UK. He's a solid guy, and he's the perfect guy. He's not going to come for millions and millions of dollars. So he's the perfect guy, and he admits he's ready. What more can you want?
What more could you ask for? He's the perfect guy. He's the perfect guy for the job. As we move on, we got Luke Campbell here. Luke Campbell says Ryan Garcia's social media followers can't help him in the ring.
Well, he's right about that. There's no question. That's a no-brainer. But you know what? It's all the hype going on between the two guys. Luke Campbell, let's see if he gets the fight. So we'll see. Obviously, Ryan Garcia is a bigger attraction than Luke Campbell.
Yes.
There's a lot more hype behind Ryan Garcia, bigger promotional ride. So let's see if the fight happens.
There's like a 10-year difference between the two. We've talked about the fight. We've talked about the potential of the fight happening. We talked about potential why the fight might not happen. Ryan Garcia might go to go. And so the question then becomes, if the fight does happen, Rick, this part we haven't talked about, if the fight betwixt Campbell and Garcia does happen, how do you see that one going down, Rick? How do you see that one going down?
It's either Garcia by knockout. I mean, anything could really happen, but I could see Campbell outboxing him. He was a great amateur. I think he won a gold medal at the Olympics. Yeah. And he's losing to Lomachenko is no disgrace at all. I mean, obviously. So, it's an even fight. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen between Campbell and Garcia. Okay, so as we move forward, got another one for Rick. Jose Ramirez. I'll be much bigger, stronger when I go to 147 for Crawford.
Yeah, I agree, but don't forget Crawford is a beast. So, that's a huge fight. That's a pay-per-view fight. That does huge buys on pay-per-view. That's what I call a clash of cultures. You got a Mexican-American, Mexican national, but living in America. You've got an African-American. It's a culture clashes. They're both undefeated. They're both everything what everybody says they are. So that's what, and nobody knows who's really going to win. So that's definitely a big pay-per-view fight. That's probably the biggest pay-per-view fight you could make in the United States, except for right now, except for Joshua and Fury fight. I think Fury, the rematch, the third fight may do well, but it's not going to do as well as it did the first time. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a big pay-per-view fight. I mean, there's not even a question about that.
Yes. When do you see that happening? When do you see what kind of what does it take to get to
2021 and when fans can come back? And that's definitely in Vegas or Staples Center fight. Probably Vegas, but maybe Staples Center, but Vegas. So it ain't going to Omaha, and it's not going to Fresno. I guarantee you both that right there. It'll go to a big place. I mean, could it end up in Texas in Jerry Jones's big
football place? Yeah.
Football stadium. It could end up there. It could end up at Staples Center. It could end up in Vegas, but it's going to end up in one of those three locales. It ain't ending up in New York City. There's no reason for it.
Right? No reason.
It's a Coast fight. It's a West Coast fight.
It's a West Coast thing. And where are we? Okay. And you know what? I think we've done it. I don't want Rick to be rushing away from the mic. I want him just to get smooth, come down from the show, have a nice glass of wine, chill out, and then when the wife gives him the signal, there ain't no rushing around. So Rick, let me see if there's any question that you haven't answered. Let me give you one last question from these guys. Where we at?
I want to apologize to everybody that I have to cut everybody short this week, including you, Raph, and everybody else. But next week it'll be back to normal, 4 to 6. And like I said, apologies to everybody. I'm always here for the duration, the whole show. This is the first of my 13th week. But I don't want to fall in that wife's doghouse.
No way, no how. And I know how it is. You just gotta relax, come down from the show, have a glass of wine, just chill out, and then go.
That's a multi-pronged doghouse.
Yeah. Big. That's a big one. That's a deluxe doghouse, multi-pronged, big. And so, Rick Glaser, much appreciation. You got some other things to do, but you're still people. He still took time out of his day to spend it over here with you and I. And so much appreciation. And as per usual, right down below, you will see in the description box, you will see Rick Glaser's social media. Be sure to hit him up and be sure to share the show.
Twitter at Real Rick Glaser 1. Yes. Enjoy it. There's a lot of fake Rick Glaser accounts out there. Pay attention at Real Rick Glaser 1.
Make sure you
came on Twitter in January of this year. I got 1,700 some followers, so that just shows you'll get the right one. January of 2020. Thanks for having me, Raph. It's always a pleasure. Look forward to next week's show again, and enjoy it very much. I woke up this morning knowing I was going to be on your show, and maybe rise and shine and take a shower and get ready for my day. It was exciting to know I was going to be on your show.
Rick,
thanks for
always a pleasure. I will see you again next week.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye now.
Excellent. So that was Rick Glaser, ladies and gentlemen. Took time out of his day, even though he had social obligations to take care of, but still took the time to share it with us. Yes. Great show, says Ruben Guerrero. What else we got? Happy wife, happy life. Thanks, Rick. Big bad Raphie. I'm a good guy. Where's Troy? OMG. Graham Cottrell, unless I'm mistaken. I think I have seen that name before. How do you do, Graham Cottrell? Where's Dixon Cider? Where's Dixon Cider? Yeah, those are the pressing questions of the day. Okay, folks. So this is my second live of the day. My second live of the day. If you haven't checked out the first one, it was about Dillian White leaving Tibbs. What's his name? What's his first name? Something Tibbs. Mark Tibbs. Okay, so Graham Cottrell coming in on some trolling shizzle. Why did you duck BFTB and then post edited versions of you debating him? I have proof. This guy sounds like an idiot. This guy sounds like a grade A idiot. Graham Cottrell, you imbecile. You imbecile, you silly boy. Listen, obviously the videos which you see, the long one had to be edited. It's 52 minutes long. And BFTB was screaming for most of that time. The time between his screams was the time when people could actually hear what was being said. So obviously I've used the portions of the interviews where people could clearly hear what was being said. On each and every occasion, I spanked little BFTB's ass. Yeah, he got spanked every time. I don't think there's anyone with any ounce of logic who would dispute that. So if you're disputing it, then that tells me that you're not very well blessed in the logic department. And as a matter of fact, you debate me then. OMG. OMG. You know what? If this wasn't a Rick Glaser thing, because this is a Ask Rick, I'm very tempted to send you the link right now. But because this is a Ask Rick, I'm not going to just tag on some nonsense and some foolishness, although I'm tempted to send you the link right now. Matter of fact, right, I'm at the temptation. Okay, let's put it to the vote. Should I send Graham Cottrell a link? It's entirely up to the chat. If they say yay, I will send you, Graham Cottrell, the link right now. I shouldn't really, because it should be a standalone piece. I try to keep this as a standalone piece. So if I'm doing anything other, I normally prefer to start another show. But I'm going to leave this up to the chat. If they say send you the link, I will send you the link. Okay, so let's take the vote. Split the show, Raphie. Hell yes. Do it. Send the link. You'll be embarrassed. Okay, the link's going out right now. Okay. I shouldn't do this. Hold on. No. Okay, I know exactly what I'll do. Okay, so I'll start another live in 10 minutes. So that makes sense. Does it not make sense to start another live in 10 minutes? I'll start another live in 10 minutes. For Stuart. Where is he? Let me highlight his name. Graham Cottrell. There he is. Graham Cottrell. Okay, so Graham Cottrell, come back in 10 minutes. I'll start another live specifically for you. Okay, so 10 minutes from now, we go live again. For this, where is he? For Graham Cottrell. What did he say? Graham, where? You'll be embarrassed in front of your, where are we? You'll be embarrassed in front of your fans. Okay, folks. Now, Raphie, you're lying. You know you want the smoke. What? Now, Raphie, you lying. You know want the smoke. Okay, so 10 minutes time, everyone. Reconvene over here, and it's going down. It could be gory. It could be very gory. But anyway, let's not forget why we're here. You have been in tune to Ask Rick. Unboxing Talk with Raphie 147. And everybody, go and grab your popcorn. Go and grab your popcorn because it's going down. Don't duck Raphie. Don't duck Raphie. It doesn't mean me ducking, it means you. Okay. 10 minutes time. What time is it now? It's 20 past. Oh no. Oh, it's 27 minutes past. Okay, so 40 minutes past the hour, we go live again. And so this has been okay. Catching up on the playback on the way home. Excellente. Okay, so there's Graham Cottrell and okay, so the only thing left for me to say is blessed.